You know, speaking of stories, have you guys heard, and it's supposed to be this like urban legend, but have you heard about the alligator myth in the sewer system? In the sewer system.
So there's a lot of New Yorkers who have. I grew up in Queens. I never heard of this, but I am so fascinated by the prospect of this mythology turning into art. So we have the Swedish artist, Alexander Klingspor, and he's the creator of this new statue that you're looking at that is basically immortalizing this whole concept of alligators in the sewers. You see that statue, it's kind of like on a sewer grate, right?
That's it's on a manhole.
It's on a manhole.
Yeah, one of those iconic New York City manholes. The interesting thing about this is, so he was fascinated with the whole story. He was in Sweden. The pandemic hit, so he couldn't come here to actually research what manholes look like, search for alligators in the sewer and that sort of thing. So he did this during the pandemic. It is unveiled today in about 28 minutes at Union Square, so you can go check it out for yourself. But what was really interesting is, this story that, as a native New Yorker, I thought it was interesting. You really were not up to speed on
I know about the rats. I know about Master Splinter.
I vaguely heard it a long time ago. Do you have the nexus of that?
So the New York Times did an article about this, and it turns out that there's a Manhattan borough historian, and it talks about February 9th as being an alligator in the sewers day. Stay with me here. This marks the day back in
the 20s, right?
Well, 1935, when teenagers in East Harlem lassoed an 8-foot alligator beneath a manhole. There has been speculation ever since that the 125-pound reptile had been brought back from Florida as a souvenir or sent through the mail when it was small.
Somehow, some way, Sam.
But think about it. Back in February, there was that alligator near us. This caught my attention. In Brooklyn, in Prospect Park. The kids their minds were blown. They were going by the lake all the time.
I remember that story.
Yeah, so that was, it turned out to be a pet that escaped the bathtub.
That's usually how alligators get here.
Well, now you go back and forth to Florida quite a bit. You never have a gator trying to...
I don't carry live animals with me either direction.
But do you love how Florida kind of infiltrated the story somehow?
Somehow, of course. Gator wrestling, of course.
A Florida man or a Florida gator?
Can be, follow the hashtag.
Yeah.
Can be a great story. I mean, really and truly, because people do bring pets here, exotic pets here, and they do take care of them until they don't want them anymore, or they realize this isn't a good idea, and then they dump them.
So we go to Union Square to check it out.
I was going to say, I want to see the art. It looks
Union Square? Immortalizing them.
Union Square.
Okay.
Yeah.